As someone who never previously watched the entire Clone Wars series, I was pleasantly surprised with the final 7th season of the show, although there were some plot lines that I think could have been tightened, or overall just removed. I enjoyed witnessing what happened with some of our favorite characters such as Captain Rex and Ahsoka when the events of Order 66 transpired. Well, in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down some of the best moments from the final season and transferring those over into a potential DLC for the upcoming Skywalker Saga game. Hey everyone, Logan here, and I'm very excited to be talking about the potential for a Clone Wars DLC in this video, especially since we're getting some new and updated Clone Wars era minifigs in this summer wave of LEGO Star Wars sets. Now, if you happen to miss last week's video on Star Wars Rebels, I'll have a link to that at the end of this video, and if you wanted to get caught up on all of my regular speculation videos covering episode 1 through 9, you can find all of those in my Skywalker Saga playlist on my channel page. It's undoubtedly harder to consider what may be included in DLCs revolving Star Wars series when compared to the normal films, since there's often numerous episodes and a handful of seasons. Even though this video is focused on just one season of the Clone Wars, there's a lot of material that could be translated into levels, and more than just 5, which is what we're getting with each episode in the Skywalker Saga. In previous DLC speculation videos, I've designed about 4 or 5 potential levels that we could see included within the expandable content, but for the purposes of this video, I'm only going to be making a few, with a large emphasis on the Siege of Mandalore, as well as the events of Order 66. Of course, there's plenty of content to speculate about with the Bad Batch, and even Ahsoka's brief time with Trace and Rafa, which I personally don't believe added much to this season, but in all honesty, I could see TT Games focusing more on Mandalore rather than anything else that we saw in this final season. Now that the Clone Wars has officially wrapped, I think there's a strong possibility that TT Games could revisit the series with an updated game in a few years, especially considering the Skywalker Saga will cover most of what's happened throughout the galaxy. There will without a doubt be a decent amount of Clone Wars content featured in this game, but just how much we could expect is still unknown for the time being. Before we get into Season 7 of the Clone Wars, I wanted to state that all comments and opinions reflected in this video come solely from myself. This video is pure speculation and does not reflect any thoughts or comments previously expressed by the game's developers, TT Games. I should also note that each of these levels will probably be shorter in length than what we'll get with the normal Skywalker Saga levels, but nonetheless, I'm going to talk about what I think should be included in each of these potential DLC options. Now, with all of that information out of the way, let's begin with Chapter 1 titled Siege of Mandalore. I've decided to begin this DLC speculation starting with arguably the most important and action-packed part of Season 7, and that includes everything that takes place on Mandalore. We could begin the level with a cutscene where Ahsoka and Anakin say their final goodbye right before Ahsoka leads the 332nd Legion into battle. The level begins above the city as members of Darth Maul's Death Watch begin to attack the Republic fleet. Playing as Ahsoka and presumably Captain Rex with a jetpack, we would fight from one Republic gunship to another. I think it would be interesting to have the ability to freefall during sections of this fight, as we don't really see another scenario like this throughout the Skywalker Saga, and it would give another perspective on some unique combat controls. Once on the ground, we continue to fight as Captain Rex and a 332nd soldier while completing numerous objectives. We should expect to encounter Gar Saxon, although I don't believe he'll be included as a playable character in this DLC. The next level will skip ahead into later during the siege, skipping the numerous encounters in the tunnels with Maul. Without a doubt, one of the best parts of Season 7 as a whole was the Ahsoka vs Maul fight, and that's the focus of Chapter 2, The Phantom Apprentice, which shares the same name as the episode. This would be a 2-part battle and would of course begin in the throne room. The beginning fight against Maul would be a lengthy one, as throughout the fight he changes his fighting style and attack techniques numerous times. After enough damage has occurred, Maul is thrown through the stained glass window above the throne. Instead of witnessing this part through a cutscene, I would actually like a short chase sequence that would allow us to experience the destruction of Mandalore through Ahsoka's perspective. The second part of this fight commences on the rafters high above the city. Not only do you have to fight Maul, but you'll need to keep one of the thumbsticks on the controller steady so that Ahsoka can keep her balance without falling. After completing the level, a couple cutscenes would fill in the gaps after the remaining members of Death Watch are defeated and Maul is held under control of the Republic. And for those that might ask, co-op mode would include one player as Maul and the other as Ahsoka fighting against each other. In terms of a Clone Wars DLC, I think that the only part of Season 7 that actually needs to be included is the Siege of Mandalore, but for the purposes of the speculation video, I'm going to include one more level, and that would be the events of Order 66 that take place on the Venator. Chapter 3, The Escape, would be centered around Ahsoka and Rex's escape, while the remaining clones on the Star Destroyer attempt to hunt them both. At this point, I would begin the level after Ahsoka has rescued and removed the inhibitor chip from Rex, and this level would focus solely on their escape. Besides another quick encounter with Maul, it would be interesting for TT Games to give us the experience of what it might feel like to play as Rex fighting against his brothers, and just another way to witness Order 66 from a different perspective, considering all we got from the complete saga were the events on Kashyyyk, as well as the aftermath at the Jedi Temple. This level would be an all-out battle and would conclude with Darth Vader traveling to the crash site many years later to find the remains of the 332nd Legion, as well as Ahsoka's lightsaber. Even though this DLC has the fewest levels that I've actually included in one of these videos to date, I tried to focus solely on what needed to be included. In previous videos such as Rogue One, throughout the story there's so many important plot points that lead towards the ending, and that's why I designed more levels. But for Season 7 of the Clone Wars, the DLC really needs to be focused on the ending. Nonetheless, it will be interesting to see how TT Games might deliver expandable Clone Wars content for this game, but at the very least, I think we should expect a character pack that might include Ahsoka, Maul, as well as a 332nd Trooper, and that specific variant of Captain Rex. Of course, it will be a while until we find out some solid information about all the DLCs that the Skywalker Saga might offer, so for the meantime, this is just my own personal thoughts and desires alongside some potential speculation. Let me know down below if I happen to miss anything important that you believe should have been included, or if I did a pretty decent job in general. Now, next weekend we'll be breaking down The Mandalorian and what we might expect to see from that series, so if you like this video and want to catch that next DLC speculation video, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you in the next Skywalker Saga video.